Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ATR's War Bedlam Media's premier wrestling podcast covering AEW to WWE. I am Sam the SOB, future lower mid-card title owner, yet to be announced, co-host of ATR's War, ATR Rising Sun. Guys, it is the 200th episode of ATR's War, Above the Ring, whatever you want to call it. Joining me since episode 1, the man behind X, wrestling's Nostradamus, Scott. And probably the governor of NXT, if we want to kind of just throw that out there now.
I mean, I guess. Yes, our mid-card title is over, and I am, I guess, our first ever governor of NXT. So thank you. Hold your applause. We have plenty to talk about tonight. Obviously, Mania in a couple of weeks. Lots of stuff to go. I'm going to stop rambling. Sam, go ahead.
And joining us as well as the third man, the man in black, the main recipient, and the beneficiary of the Clone Ethan 2026 campaign, my main co-host from ETR Rising Sun and current Battle Media champion, Ethan.
Acknowledge me. I'm here. I finally made it on the live, boys.
I know.
It's my second podcast of the night, so.
And rounding out the cast, joining us once again, the inconsistent full-timer, the man with all the stats, John the Statman.
I'm not the inconsistent full-timer here.
I was trying to find something. I want to use part-timer and full-timer, and I'm like, I spent 30 seconds trying to figure out what
inconsistent full-timer.
Guys, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Discord. John and I also do the review round covering albums. We drop album reviews a couple times a week. We got a couple of big weeks coming up, so plenty of album reviews there. Ethan also just launched Walk with Ethan's hockey podcast. You can find it on the Bedlam Media YouTube page.
Episode 2 dropped tonight, by the way. Go check it out.
It did, and I got to post that because I'm responsible and I do adult things.
It's okay.
While I have a beverage. It's funny. 200 episodes, I was actually thinking about, man, maybe I should order like a Hawaiian shirt that has like a bow tie on it. And that was just not happening. So here I am, as is. It's like a Tuesday. It's not a Tuesday. It's a Thursday. But you guys are joining us. We got a lot going on. Next week, so everyone knows, WrestleMania pre-show. WrestleMania week is coming upon us. We will be doing our picks live. So join us then as well. 3 live episodes over the next month. We're 2 into 3 of those. I'm enjoying these. Maybe at some point, don't want to put that out there as a definite. We just do everything live because fuck it. Let's do it live.
Yep.
So, I think what we were going to do is we were going to kick off with an infamous Scott opening pack. So let's kick off with that, and we got a lot to talk about.
So before we do that, we have a friend of the channel, Mark, back in the chat. Thank you so much. And he already says that the Inconsistent Full-Timers is now added to his list of pub trivia teammates.
Nice.
You fucking Mark.
It's funny. I've known Mark for well over 2 decades, and I've never made that joke with him. And I think he appreciates that, though.
Is that what he appreciates about you?
Yes.
do you fee him, sir?
I'll have to, if we can get him on the actual show, I'll have to tell the story or the stories of the time we used to watch wrestling together in college and how I nearly took his eyes out, literally. But obviously by accident. But that's another story for if he decides to show up on, if he decides to come on the show with us.
Scott had a to eye for eye match.
Almost. It was out of pure excitement, but whatever. So this time I decided to open up one of the new box, well, not new, but one of the boxes that I had from 2021. Some trading cards, just all WWE people. Unfortunately, tonight I will not be doing any AEW packs, so I'm sorry, Mark. I'm actually saving those for an actual special that I'm going to do. So our first one for this one is going to be Austin Theory. So we've been doing some good stuff with the Vision as of late. So it's nice to see him actually being on television because he is one hell of a wrestler. So let's see. Second thing was from an episode of Raw, back when the MVP lounge was still a thing, and Drew McIntyre went and took him out. This next one is one that I feel honestly is one of the biggest fumbles that WWE has done in recent history, and that is with Karrion Kross. We've talked about that at length on this show many times, and that's just So for this one, this is a special one. It's one of their WrestleMania memorable entrances. It's the Macho King. Randy Savage.
Oh yeah,
it's real nice. I like that. Yes, our favorite Enigma, one half of the TNA World Tag Team Champions, Jeff Hardy.
He doesn't top out 2011 Sting taking on Jeff Hardy.
Oh gosh,
that was rough.
ouch.
On an episode of Raw, we have Angel Garza. I think he defeated Cedric Alexander, who was part of the system in TNA.
Good.
And then, we do have a current AEW wrestler, Mace. I forgot what his actual name is.
Mason Man.
Huh?
Mason Man.
Thank you.
Oh.
Part of Eminem over there in AEW. So that is your first pack opening of the night.
You know, it'd be pretty funny. You said you're going to save the AEW for an event. It'd be funny if next week when we do the live show, like, I'm going to do an AEW pack on WrestleMania week just to throw everyone off.
I actually thought of that. I said, this would be fun. But I actually have a box of WrestleMania cards from when we were supposed to go, but COVID stopped that in its tracks. So I'll be able to open up a couple of those. And Sting. Speaking of Sting, Mark be like he drop in like Sting from the rafters.
Yep, that's Mark. Mark is like the somehow unofficial fifth man.
Yes,
he's there, but he's not. We get
the honorary Oos.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
he's very Oosy, if you want my honest opinion. So yeah, Mania next week, guys. Don't forget to follow us. We'll talk about the schedule there. Let's quickly go through, and we don't have to rush a short. We're going to go through TNA Rebellion really quickly. We're going to give our picks for this. John, I don't know if we had this conversation that we were going to do these picks, but I know you and I watched this product the least.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We're still within, I think this is the second to last show next to Mania.
Yep.
So let us, I don't know. I can begin since I know I've been trying to be, I'm not champion, so I'll let the champion go last. Maybe that'll be my mid-lower card title now. I don't know. The Octagon obsessed something. I'll come up with some crazy name.
The under the
Chris shortly later.
The under the ring champion.
The under the ring Octagon.
It's working.
It's gonna be so obnoxious that it's gonna be stuck in your head. Okay.
Oh,
you want to go first, Sam? You want to go first, Sam, or you want me to go first?
You look like you had a smirk on your face, like you were gonna go because you had something.
All right.
Let John go first.
Let's pretend like I know who these people are. All right. So TNA, I have the right pay-per-view, right? TNA Rebellion 2026.
Yes, sir.
All right. So starting off, we'll say, all right, Leon Slater. We'll keep the X Division title. We're gonna. Oh, interesting. Okay, we're gonna walk with Elijah. Frankie Kazarian versus Elijah. We'll walk with him. Nick Nemeth versus Flop Dollar. Oh, I mean AJ Francis. We'll go with Nick Nemeth. Trey Miguel versus Muhammad Ali. Mustafa Ali. You know what? We'll go Mustafa Ali on that one. And then we have the Elegance brand versus Mickey James. You all right there, fella?
No.
Mickey James, ODB, and Taryn Teller. Taryn Teller. All right, we'll go with Mickey James and the other two. And then we have Moose. Who the hell is Special Agent Zero?
He is actually part of Order 4 with Mustafa Ali and the others.
Not to be confused with orders 1 through 3.
Correct.
All right, we'll go with Moose. And we have Ariana Grace versus Lei Ying Lee. All right, we'll go with Ariana Grace on that one. And then we have the Hardys versus the System. Of course, I have to go with the Hardys. And then we have Mike Santana versus Eddie Edwards. You know what? Mike Santana just got in trouble for kicking that guy, kind of, right?
No, he never got any trouble for that.
Well, not in trouble, but like he probably got a little heat for that.
Probably, yeah.
We'll go with Eddie Edwards. I'll go with.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I will follow up with that since I know the other two are going to have a little more to say here. I'm going to say Leon Slater is going to retain. Frankie Kazarian is going to go over Elijah. Nick Nemeth is going to go over AJ Francis. Mustafa Ali, because you know what? I like his character. I think he'd be a great heel champion. I don't know. This hardcore country, that sounds like a Mickey James ODB win right there. So they're going to get the W. Moose, because it's Moose. Xia Li, because that's what she was in WWE. I'm going to go with her. The Hardys are going to retain. And I'm going to say, for a different reason, Eddie Edwards is going over, because I wasn't thinking about what John was saying. My understanding is Mike Santana's contract is coming up this year.
Oh,
It
all
is.
right, there you go.
And there are rumors that WWE is interested
Mm-hmm.
for him to be in like the lower card. I don't know, because that's what happens. So I'll hand it over to Scott or Ethan to Rochambeau for these picks.
Ethan,
I'll
go
go
ahead, brother.
Finally. So Cedric and Leon. I'm going with Cedric winning the X-Division title. I'm going with Frankie beating Elijah. I don't care about that match. I'm going to agree with Sam and John with Nemeth. Again, I don't care about this match either. Mustafa Ali wins the international title. That could be a banger. The 6-woman hardcore country match. I'm going with the Elvis brand. Moose beats Special 8-0. Leon Lee wins the Knockouts title. The System wins the TNA World Tag titles, and Eddie Edwards wins the TNA World title.
All right. I see what you're doing. I like it. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I would not be upset if the System runs the table and wins all the titles. But I just don't think Leon's going to lose to Cedric. I think he'll probably be the one that takes it. So Cedric, sorry brother, Leon Slater is going to win that match to retain the X Division title. I will go with Elijah to beat Frankie Kazarian. I will pick Nick Nemeth to beat AJ Francis. I do think Mustafa Ali will win the international championship, beating Trey Miguel. I pick Mickey James and company to win that match. I pick Moose to beat Special Agent Zero. I think Ariana Grace is actually going to retain the Knockouts title in more shenanigans, because that's just how this works at this point. I feel like the System will beat the Hardys, probably because of oh my god, I forgot their names. The Righteous. And I feel like Eddie Edwards will beat Mike Santana to be the world champion.
So, right quick, so Sam was talking about Santana's contract expiring. It's in the summer, so we all know he's going to NXT. And
Pretty
the only two matches I'm pretty excited for is the X-Division title match and the international. That's so far.
Yeah, those should be pretty good.
Yeah, so we will be. Unfortunately, we're probably not going to have a follow up on this. Mania's pretty much Mania week. Wrestling doesn't exist outside of that unless you're Ethan and his clones, and they're going to be covering every promotion and everything that they do. So,
Yes.
Quickly then, though, let's talk about Ethan. Do you have any Ethan picks from TNA recently? Just want to quickly.
No, I was drinking water. Sorry. Do I have any Ethan picks for TNA? I don't.
All right. Well, there you go, guys. Let's see. I want to talk about Stand and Deliver. We're going to hold off on that. We got a couple of different. I'll bring this up. This just dropped today. So I don't know if you saw, guys. TNA was announcing a whole bunch of numbers. In my head, I'm like, wow, they're going to do one of those old Super Nintendo video games where it's like, count by numbers with Scott Steiner or something like that. Lo and behold, TNA is like going everywhere. They're going to be in Boston. They're going to be in Tampa. Finally, they're going to be California, Colorado, guys. If you get a chance to go see their shows, I would. TNA's been pretty good recently, so definitely go check that out. I'm definitely. Any of you guys want to come down to Tampa for Bound for Glory? Let me know. I know I'm going to be going with a couple people. So we got a couple. Let's see what else we can talk about. Stand Deliver. I want to hold off on that. Where do we go from here? We got the Alberto Del Rio situation. We do have Chris Jericho. Ethan, were you hearing us when we were talking about the Chris Jericho return?
No, I left for that 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
I was going to be, and then
Yeah.
I hit a live assignment.
Oh, that's the other thing that's happening this weekend. If you guys don't know, it's is it Dynasty?
Dynasty.
Yeah, Dynasty's happening this weekend. But Jericho did come out and address him. I can't even say he addressed coming out. He started talking about he loves AEW. We've all heard this before. And then Ricochet comes out. He's going to be fighting Ricochet at Dynasty, and he brought the list back. So, I don't know. I was excited for that. When Jericho's gold, he is golden. Ethan covering information from A, AAA to Z, Long Island story.
Oh, I was surprised Chris Jericho pulled out the list. He's not a nostalgic guy. He doesn't do that. So I was genuinely shocked.
I have a theory, and Mark him and I were actually talking about this today, and he brought up a good point. I feel like he's starting to do like his greatest hits of his gimmicks from his career. Mark brought up the point that he thinks that this might be a mockery of what WWE was going to do if he had gone back. So I think AEW is just jumping the gun. So now he's bringing back all these old gimmicks because I believe the first one, when he came back, he didn't speak. He didn't say anything. That was one of his things when he did one of his returns. Now he's brought back the list. So it's like, what's next? If they start talking about it again, then I know that that's exactly what they're doing.
So he's maybe not bringing it back, but like having a moment for each of
every week. It's been something different. So I feel it. So we'll have to see him next week. If he ends up doing something else next week, then I know then that's going to be good. So let's see. I'm just hitting there, pushing buttons by accident.
Okay. Whoever wants to be on here, it's the 200th episode. We got a lot to discuss. Guys, we didn't even have this one planned. Do we have a favorite moment on the show? 200 episodes. I know Scott and I at this point, Scott and I, we've done a lot of the recording remotely. We've had a couple of times where we've met and hung out and watched wrestling. John lived 10 minutes from me at one point, especially in the early days of the Wednesday Night Wars. It was like, hey, Wednesdays, you coming over? Yeah, I'll come over. Or is it pay-per-view? We're coming over. It's a lot of those moments. But do you guys have any particular moment here on the show that that sticks out to you?
You for me anyways, you touched on it. Like, I think out of the 200 episodes that we've done for ATR's War or whatever the names that have led to this, I think it's the 3 episodes that we actually got to do live and in person. It's just, you and I already have a good way of talking to one another in these things, and it's been great that John and Ethan have been able to come in, and we don't talk over one another 99% of the time. We're all pretty good about just talking, having a good blast, but doing it in person is just, it's a whole nother beast. And for me, I've always thoroughly enjoyed it. So for me, that would be my favorite so far of these 200 episodes.
I think. Well, there was one where me and Sam were talking about one of the New Japan shows, and one of the stipulations was a strap match, and I actually said the strap on broke. And me and Sam laughed for like 20 minutes. I didn't realize what I said. I was like, whoops.
I'm pretty grateful with Ethan joining us, especially with the Japan stuff, because even John and I for a while, like, you know, John was kind of the reason I got back into watching wrestling, because like, hey, Raw's coming to Providence. It was the I will never forget this. It was the episode where they were getting ready to do the draft in 2016. And I've never seen a wrestling show live. and that's where Daniel Bryan came out and Mick Foley came out, and it was a good time. And even around that time, we started going, oh, Ring of Honor is like on fire, and New Japan. There's some talent from New Japan that are really cool. That was when Cody was there, so there was a lot of cool things going on that John and I got to see in person together.
I would say I wouldn't just me trashing Dave Meltzer the last few weeks has been a blast. I've really enjoyed doing that. If we're going a little bit further back, I did like when we did when we would watch Dynamite live.
Oh yeah,
I enjoyed doing that in the games we would play, like in the commercial breaks and stuff like that. Those were fun. I liked that.
Yeah, back when AI wasn't shoved down our throat, John would do something AI wrestling related, and then we'd spend the whole like 2-3 minutes of the commercial trying to figure out what the hell it was.
Right.
The Rumble watch along was fun.
Yeah.
Even though it fucking sucked, I was like, literally, me and Scott, I was like, okay, on 3, we're gonna hit play at the same time, and then literally, I somehow got ahead of Scott. I'm like, how?
I'm in Vermont. Internet's like, what? What is this?
I'm behind you, and I think John is where I'm at, but we're 1,000 miles away. We're further away than any. Like, I don't.
Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense to me why I'm always behind everybody. So it is what it is. It's honestly one of the main reasons why we don't really do a lot of the watch-alongs, because we're just all over the place. We've tried to coordinate. John and I have done it because we watched Saturday Night's Main Event together, doing it, and he paused for like 15 seconds, so we were within like a second or two of each other, so it was kind of close. But yeah, it's just it's weird. Being able to watch all together and be on a show would be ideal. That would be the greatest thing. But will that ever happen? Who knows? But I'm just throwing that out there into the universe. One day.
Sometimes I would have crappy internet when we were doing the live reactions to Dynamite, and I would just drop off.
That is true. I mean, our channel is notorious for having drop off. So I'm sure at some point during this, and I'm saying it now, I'm gonna knock on wood, I hope not. But one of us or all of us at some point will pop off and come back. So
don't jinx it.
So you know what?
No, I said it. So now I knocked on wood. So I'm like, let's see. Hopefully it doesn't happen. But 9 times out of 10, it has, unfortunately.
So you know what? Let's go to one of the questions that we had from MN team, where we were talking about. I think it had to do with I think favorite live event we've ever attended.
Oh, I'll think about this one. You guys go ahead.
All right, it's tough. So I've been to, because there was a period where John and I would go, like, let me clarify something. I think there was a period where John and I were inseparable. It was either concerts or movies or wrestling or whatever. WrestleMania 40 was fun with Scott. 33, Scott wasn't necessarily there, but I met him there. I think one of my favorites, it's tough. One of my favorites might have been the early Ring of Honor shows that John and I went to when they were on fire. Because those crowds, kind of like the second episode of Dynamite when you and I went, John, those crowds were on fire in a way I don't think I've ever seen outside of that little period of time. It was just fun. You were like experiencing like the Monday Night Wars as close as you could without being at a WCW Nitro or Monday Night Raw in the 90s. So, I don't know what the first one was. If it was War of the Worlds or Global. I think it was War of the Worlds.
Yes,
and
I think
where
so,
I met Cody. We all had, there's a photo online. Alex, John, and myself. We all have the Bullet Club shirts on. I think Alex and I met Cody, and we held the belt, and he looks like a wax statue.
I think those were two separate things. I think.
Oh, they were. It's all.
Yeah, the night you met Cody, I think I wasn't there. Otherwise, I would definitely would have met him too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that time period.
Yeah.
Was just...
Yeah.
Oh God, there's so many. There was one indie show I went to. It had Kurt Angle and like Samoa Joe on there. Like Angle was reffing the main event, and then Joe came out of nowhere, and no one knew Joe was there. So everybody in the building popped. I was like, holy! I was like, well, because everybody's like, oh, I seen Joe, and wrestling. Oh yeah, bullshit. Yeah, okay, I'll believe it. Literally, the lights went out. We're like, uh oh. someone's like, "Oh no, the power went out," and then literally Joe's right behind one of the wrestlers, and Angle's just, and you can see Angle on ringside going, "Thank God it's not me." But Joe got a huge pop, and I mean it's an indie show, but WWE, the rare time they come down here, it's been house shows lately. So seeing AJ live was pretty cool. I did get a picture of Byron Saxon last time they were down here, so.
I think, yeah, that period that Sam and I were just going to a bunch of stuff, that was definitely like a golden era. I think a lot of fun those days. I think a personal favorite for me, because I was going to stuff in, way back when too, and I would say my favorite would be because I don't know if people know this that are listening, that my friend Chris, he used to get us tickets. I'm talking like the mid 2000s, and that because his uncle just so happened to be referee Tim White, so we would get hooked up with tickets. And I think my most memorable was probably sitting behind Michael Cole and Taz at SmackDown.
I know exactly which episode because we've had this talk a million times.
Yep.
Yeah, where Tommaso Ciampa was Muhammad Hassan's lawyer.
Oh, that.
Well, that was also the episode where what was it? It was the Eddie Guerrero JBL cage match.
That was a different SmackDown, but I was there too.
Right.
Yeah, that was wild too. I did see this one I'm talking about where I sat ringside. It was Eddie Guerrero versus Hardcore Holly, I think, that night. And there was a dark match, I think, with John Cena. It was a tag team. I don't remember who the tag team was. It was John Cena. It might have been John Cena Batista versus Triple H and JBL, I think.
That sounds
match.
about right. Because they're probably going into Mania season, I would assume. Because okay.
Yeah.
That's
but
cool.
I was like, I'm never going to sit ringside again, probably. So that I'll stick with that forever.
Yep. Yeah, that's a goal of mine at one point, to sit ringside for a show. Obviously, I know with the prices being astronomical right now, it seems like a deep, like it's a pipe dream at this point.
I don't know. If they keep it in Saudi next year and things keep going the way they are, we might be able to get tickets handed out to us.
I mean, that is possible. Yeah,
free fireworks.
Lower the ticket prices.
That's true. CM Punk did have one hell of another pipe bomb on Raw this past week. So we'll see what happens. I know that WrestleMania is. We'll talk about this as well with the card, but their ticket prices are still like, what was it, 10 to 15% lower than it was last year. Obviously, the prices had jumped as well, so that kind of makes sense why. Even with the drop of price, talking about Cena showing up being the host, they're still lagging behind. So we'll see if all this stuff going into it will boost the tickets. So
that's what happens when you go back to the same place again.
That's also very true.
Together,
Yep, that's also very true.
One of the most expensive places in the world.
Correct.
Yeah.
Scott's dream hometown.
I mean, I do like me some Vegas, but yeah, it is very expensive.
Oh, apparently they're revealing the set next week, by the way.
Well, that's good. Hopefully,
I would hope so.
It's true, since Mania isn't going 2 weeks.
Tuesday or Wednesday, I think. I seen a report. Tuesday or Wednesday, they're supposed to reveal it.
Hopefully, I mean, I like what they're kind of. I don't know, like the graphics they had on Raw this past week kind of gave me like a Mad Max vibe.
I got that vibe too.
Yeah, so I wonder how the set's going to look. Obviously, the one from last year was great, so I'm anticipating something equally as crazy this year.
Did you notice the colors last year? Like day one, it was like kind of like bright, and then like night two was like kind of like dark.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Honest, I know it's not much difference, but it's like different.
But it's a subtle difference to show which night to highlight for what night and what are one or the other. But to pull it back for me, being the oldest one in this group by quite a lot, unfortunately. God, I've been to my fair share of shows. I've been to a bunch of pay-per-views when I lived in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. I've been to 2 Manias and technically a third. I've been in the area. It's actually when Sam and I met. We've had that story before for 33. I went to 32 when it was in Dallas, and then 40 for Philly. But for me, I have to say, my absolute favorite, and this actually might be a segue into one of our stories, the Rumble in 2011, 40-man Rumble. It's in Boston. It was the surprises that got me. Booker T coming back, Kevin Nash, Mark and Andrew, who were both in the chat, were at that show, and I think I nearly broke Andrew's shoulder because I was so excited when Booker T came out. But that was a fun time. Obviously, being able to spend it with a bunch of friends that I've had for a long time. It just ended being a Rumble. For me, the Rumble's always been my favorite show. And 40 men, so I was just like, this is great. Obviously, well, at the time, it was the largest before Saudi had their 50th or their 50-man Rumble. But yeah, I'd probably say that one would probably be my favorite. Probably a honorable mention would be the first War Games in WWE on the main roster in Boston. When I went to that show, so that was a good one too.
Well, before we segue, because I got a question about that, maybe with the TNA stuff, something in Boston, something in Tampa, I don't know, we can make something happen.
It's true. I mean, the way my work schedule is, I have that Monday off after Slammiversary. So the possibility of me going to Slammiversary has gone up considerably now that I know that it's around. So I will have to crunch some numbers, see how things look. But there's a possibility I could be going to Slammiversary when it's in Boston. Just figure out where the hell.
Look, you went to Battle for Glory, and now you're going to go to Slammiversary. Right?
Yeah, I got to start knocking off the TNA pay-per-views. So no.
So Scott, remind me again who won the 2011 Royal Rumble.
Well,
I can't be the announcer who said it, but it was Alberto Del Rio. Should have been Santino, but whatever. That would have been amazing, but still.
Yeah. This is a name I haven't heard in the words of Obi-Wan, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. I know John came across something, which I actually didn't know until he had mentioned it today, about Alberto.
Yeah, good old Alberto Del Rio, Alberto Del Patron, whatever you want to call him. He's in the news again. And I think if it wasn't solidified before, this definitely solidifies him as a piece of shit, folks. The 4-time WWE champion arrested again for domestic violence in Mexico. Police in San Luis apparently reportedly arrested Alberto Del Rio for allegedly verbally assaulting and beating his partner after she called 911. Do they have 911 in Mexico? I don't know. His current partner, with whom he shares trips, times, and even training moments with, shared photos and all that. He was detained by the police in Mexico. You can see that mugshot. If you haven't seen it already, there's a mugshot going around of him. Now, we know that this has happened with him in the past before. The only time where he had something in like 2014 with WWE where they fired him for like unprofessional conduct because of some altercation with some employee, where I think the employee said something like really bad, like about like washing dishes or something like that. That's the only time where I would be fine with it. That guy deserved it, whatever he had coming to him for that comment. But he's been in the news for Paige was a big one when he was with Paige, also known as Saraya. That happened. I think there was another partner in May 2020 that the same thing. The guy's a scumbag. I think, yeah, Emma just mentioned it in the chat too. The guy's a piece of shit. I couldn't agree more.
He's somebody I always wonder every so often. He comes up and it's kind of like less so with Ryback, but like Alberto comes up and everyone's like, oh, he might return, or I know Vince liked him for some reason.
Wow.
And I didn't watch wrestling during that time, but everything I've ever seen of him, you ever see a wrestler and everyone's like, "This is big," and you're like, "Oh, all right, I'm gonna just go get something to eat or turn the TV." Like Alberto's been the same way. Like as long as I've been watching wrestling since 2016, no interest. There's nothing about that guy, about his character, outside of this that is likable.
The best thing about Alberto Del Rio was his theme song. End of story. That was it. That was the best thing about him. Yeah, he was awful. He was a decent wrestler. I'll give him that, but his personality, or at least how it came off on television, was not good at all. Obviously his what was it? Roberto Rodriguez was his personal announcer. Also, probably the best part of his whole character. It's just and to find out again that he's still doing these stupid things to people. Yeah, he should not be a free man walking at this point.
No, I think I think if these charges go through, he faces up to 7 years in prison.
7. I'm looking at Yahoo Sports and it says 20.
Oh, geez. Okay.
I could be wrong. You could be right, but I was just like, every article I read was 20.
Well, since this is a pattern of his, I think he should do some time.
Yeah. Yep.
Get his shit sorted out.
Yep.
Fuck Alberto Del Rio. That's all I'm gonna say.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Mark had a question about house shows.
Yes, I was actually about to say we should take a moment to go back to chat because there's been a lot of people that have been asking questions, and I thank all of you for that. I love that you guys are asking questions. So let me dive back here. Let's see. So we actually have a question, or at least a statement from GSM or M Sports 13, stating that Tony should sell ROH if he's not going to do anything with it. It should have been on TV a long time ago. I agree. I know there is the Honor Club. Not everybody has Honor Club. Not everybody wants to pay. So, but I agree. There are a lot of talented wrestlers that are in ROH that should have been on television. Athena. Anyways. So, yeah, then something needs to be done with that. Let's see. Another one.
It's NXT of AEW.
Okay.
But they're not, though, because WWE has always given NXT a platform to play on, whether it was the WWE Network back in the day, or having it on, now it's on CW, even though I guess there's a lot of problems with cable companies and satellite companies dropping CW, so their ratings are dropping. I just saw something today that I guess NXT's ratings are down 11% from last year, 53%, I guess, when the whole when they do their rating from like 18 to 40 to 43, 47, whatever the thing is, but that's down like 53%. So they've lost viewers, but that I think is because CW is not in as many houses, because NXT's product is still real good. I watch it every week and I've enjoyed it. I think out of all of the WWE product, I think I enjoy NXT the most.
You've been like that for a long time.
Yeah,
I agree with Scott, honestly.
So
the only time they were kind of struggling was during the 2.0 era, because that's when Vince was trying to kill it for some stupid reason.
Oh, this is good. Time to kill it. So one thing I think, and again, we talked about this on the Do Your Homework episode where I went off on the IWC and pretty much said, you guys need to just, I hate when everyone comments, like Danhausen was the conversational piece, and it was like, well, I don't know who Danhausen is. He's an indie guy. And I'm like, guys, he was in AEW. Well, I don't watch AEW. So if it's not on Raw or SmackDown, it don't mean anything. Do your fucking homework. But I think at least what the companies can do, both AEW with Ring of Honor and WWE with NXT, this is, I think they would benefit them as well, is if you're bringing somebody up, give them a package. Give them a video package being like, this is who this person is. And he was on NXT and he did this and they had this title and they've been here this long, or they were on Evolve and this and da-da-da-da-da.
Yep.
No.
30 seconds.
Yep. NXT has been doing a pretty decent job at that when it came to their recent like crop of Evolve wrestlers that have moved up. I think the main roster has done obviously they did a great job with Oba posting him everywhere, and obviously he has he is more than already paid for anything when it comes to what they invested in him. And something that we'll probably will mention now, Royce Keys had a great Rumble debut and then gone until today when they dropped a little, I think it was like a minute and a half vignette on X today talking about like his past and whatnot, living where he was, and he's going to make his debut on SmackDown tomorrow. So yeah. I like that they finally. I feel like maybe they should have debuted him a month ago. Yeah, he's not going to be on Mania, but at least get the ball rolling. Don't let him come out 2 weeks before Mania. So I feel like that's a bit of a drop of the ball. But as long as they do well pushing him, it's funny. I was actually telling the guys and telling I know Mark's in the chat. He's a big AEW guy. I'm so far behind on AEW. I'm slowly catching up. Right now I'm in the middle of October. Well, now I'm at the end. But when I was watching episodes, he was still Powerhouse Hobbs and he was still the Trios champion. So it's kind of funny to watch and be like, hey, you're not on this show anymore. This is kind of funny. But I'm a big fan of his. I want him to do well. I feel like he could have made a decent, like he could have burst onto the scene, I think, a little better if they would have debuted him in, say, I don't know, February or hell, even in March. Maybe he could have had something going into Mania. Maybe not. Maybe he needed some more time to train at the Performance Center. Mark had made a joke about Santana needing to be in NXT for a few years so he learns how to wrestle on television. We kind of joke because it's everybody makes that comment like you don't know the WWE way, you don't know how to wrestle. In some ways that is true. I actually read an article with AJ Styles himself stating that if he knew what he knew when he first got there, he would have told them to put him in NXT first and not be on the main roster because he was lost I think he said the first 6 months because he was just trying to fake it till he made it. And he said being in NXT probably would have helped sharpen his WWE style of wrestling. So I feel like he had said anybody now that he will scout and talent scout for the future, he said that everybody's going to go through NXT, which I think is fair because you need to learn how to do, because WWE does it a certain way. Obviously everybody else has their own way of doing things. So why not take 6 months? Even if you're a superstar, take a few months, do some cameo stuff, know how to, do it the way they want to do it, and then go off to the main roster and have fun.
Can I fancy book? I almost call them Powerhouse Keys by accident.
Powerhouse Keys.
It can be Powerhouse Keys. Why not?
I like it.
You know how Obafemi's like a star? Well, I know he's a star, but like the fans took to him really quick.
Yeah. Yep.
What if you put him with Orton?
Put him with who?
Randy Orton.
Ooh.
You want Orton? You can have Orton have a group.
Better than McAfee.
It's funny that you mentioned that, and also John, funny that you mentioned McAfee, because McAfee put out a tweet that said he has a massive surprise for SmackDown, and Royce Keys is supposed to make his debut on SmackDown. So Ethan, you might be onto something here. I don't hate it at all, actually. I feel like that could be really good. Ooh.
Look, I got Scott's wheels rolling.
I like that. No, I like that.
Let's just say next week I might break.
But let's get back into the questions. Again, thank you guys for being here, for having fun with us while we just talk and ramble about wrestling, or at least I've been rambling a lot, so I apologize to the rest of the crew here. So Emma had a question about wrestling cards. Where do I find them these days? Believe me, during COVID, there was a lot of time. Obviously, a lot of us had time to ourselves because most of the time we were not really going places. But when we were able to start going out, I actually found 99% of the cards the boxes of cards or the packs that I currently have, I find them at Walmart. Nowadays I can't find them anymore because now they've become a lot more popular, so people are buying them. So now I find them online through Amazon. I've even through GameStop. I've been able to find them online. And my favorite ones that I've been opening up slowly over the past 4 or 5 months now have been the WCW NWO ones that I actually found at a local ETWA wrestling event. There was just people selling a whole bunch of toys, video games, old VHSs, different stuff for wrestling, and I happened to come across these. And I looked, and I'm just like, all right, they each say 99 cents on it. That's fine. I can pay $1 for these. That's not a big deal. But when I asked them, I said, how much for the bunch? Because they had probably close to 30 packs just literally sitting there. I said, how much for all of this? She's like, oh, we'll do 50 cents a piece. I'm like, I will buy them yesterday. Let's go. And I had them for, I think that was back in maybe 21. So I've been sitting on them for years because Sam and I had just started the show the year before. So I didn't know if doing like wrestling packs would be a big thing. But as the years have gone on, I've seen more and more people doing pack openings now. Obviously, Pokemon is a huge one right now. But people doing stuff for wrestling, baseball cards, basketball cards, football, hockey. Those are all still those things. I've been collecting those things since I was little. So wrestling cards have actually now been a big deal for me. So yeah. So I'm gonna spin it off into its own specials. I actually have full boxes that are unpacked. I have a box that I bought that was exclusive in Europe, so that was fun to get a hold of. So yeah, stay tuned. It's gonna be a fun time. So hopefully you guys enjoy it, and that'll be a live one, so you guys can be here and we can all chit chat about it while I open up a whole bunch of cards.
So the one thing about cards is like you can pretty much get them anywhere. All right, you don't want to be held? That's cool. Aurora decided to join us for the show, the unofficial 5th member of our podcast. You can pretty much get them anywhere. The thing is, like you said, Pokemon, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh! If it's a trading card game, there's a little more stake in it because you can kind of play with them. I always wonder about standard cards, trading cards. I've gone to a couple yard sales down here where people are selling their baseball cards. They've been, for 40 years, they've been collecting baseball cards. And I'm like, I don't know how 40, 50, 60 years ago, like baseball cards were like a big deal. Basketball cards were a big deal. Football cards were a big deal. And with the stuff like the trading card games, I don't know if they've gone down in value, but I don't know. Let's make wrestling cards a thing. Let's make that happen. Speaking about making things happen, this is something we started talking about last week. We talked about how Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling has a TV deal up in Canada. I haven't seen anything on a US thing. NWA is getting a deal with Sinclair Broadcasting, and if I'm not mistaken, that's the company that owns NBC, I think, or the rights to NBC or something like that. I don't know. NBC and Sinclair comes to mind, or maybe that was the local channel. Regardless, as we're talking, I didn't even see this, and I don't know if Ethan you posted this either. CMLL on Fox Sports 2 starting on the 24th of this month.
Oh yeah, I shared that to the group. Yeah, it'd be cheaper than YouTube membership.
That's a big deal too. Yeah, because didn't AAA just get a deal as well?
Yeah, at Fox Latin America.
Yeah, so that's huge for them.
But for us, it's YouTube. So
yeah. All right, so continuing to go into the chat, Mark had a thought. Let's see.
Oh, there we go. That's what I mentioned a few minutes ago.
Yeah. So WWE did house shows again. Would that solve a lot of problems? More ticket revenue, more reps for the wrestlers, so the matches and TVs look better. More wrestling for the fans.
Yes.
Boys, I talked too much. You guys can go ahead and answer this question.
John, Ethan, you have a thought here?
I'll let John go first.
Yeah, I was trying to gain a thought on this. I haven't really thought about this.
All right, I will. I'll let you guys think about it. I will ramble here for a minute. So, I personally am not like a house show person. if I go see a wrestling event, sometimes being on TV is like half the fun. If it's like, oh, this is gonna be on TV and I'm gonna be there. You know, if you got like little kids or you just want to go see a wrestling show, sure, maybe a house show is fun. However, that being said, at least from a fan perspective, that's my thoughts. If you like going, cool. From the talent perspective, and I don't know if anyone heard, and I know there's going to be definitely a mixed bag here, but when John Cena was on Joe Rogan's podcast, he said there were concerns about the house shows going away because that is where you try things out, and that's where things just happen. So he talks about the "you can't see me" thing. That happened, he said, on a house show. His brother, I think, dared him, and it was going to be an inside joke or something. It's like, you know, just do a "you can't." Like he would try it, and you know, whatever. And then he did on TV one day to be like, you know, his brother's like, "Bet you won't do it on TV." He's like, all right, you know, you can't see me. And he goes, sure enough, it slowly started picking up steam. And again, you know, 20 years later, I mean, kids who were born way after him starting wrestling are, you know, they know what that is.
Yep.
On top of being able to get your craft in. I mean, wrestling isn't just like, oh yeah, go on TV and you're going to put on a show. It's like, you got to kind of get the repetition in. And could you practice? Sure. But those people it's not like 50 years ago where you're going to be in the territory. You're going to go from North Carolina to South Carolina to Georgia. Then you go to Kentucky. No, you're going to be in Boston. And then like in a week, you're going to be in Colorado. And then a week after that, you might be over in England. So I think the repetition is good. And it allows you to try things. We do it on the show all the time. Maybe something sticks. I mean, we don't have the craziest fan base, but like every so often we do something, you know. Maybe it sticks. Maybe we think it's the funniest thing on the planet. We laugh about it. Yeah, that's a t-shirt idea.
Yep.
Nothing happens, nothing happens.
The Bedlam by Design is always the one that sticks out to me when that first arrived in TNA, or I think it's actually Impact Wrestling back then. We ran with that for months, just making jokes and like, not because we didn't like it. We thought it was the coolest thing. So Sam and I would just run with that for months. But yeah, just it's those things. I will say a small bit. I believe, yes, I miss house shows. I've been to a few house shows.
So have I.
To WWE house shows and TNA actually house shows when I lived in Massachusetts, and they were a blast because the wrestlers are more fun. They're relaxed. They're funny. Like even the serious ones, they do all the stupid fun jokes, and the crowd goes crazy and they love it. And it's more intimate. It's a lot more fun. It's not as polished as television shows are. But that's my 2 cents. So I'm gonna go.
Yeah. I think with house shows as a fan, not personally my favorite. I've been to one or so, and I mean it's whatever. But I think for the sake of the wrestlers, I think they would benefit the most from it to have at least some practice. Because I understand like freak things happen in matches. Like you can't avoid every injury, you can't avoid every incident or accident that happens. A lot of different variables and freak things happen. I understand that. But these, from what they're doing on live television, they should have as much practice as possible. And that's where I would see the house shows as being beneficial to bring them back. So that way the wrestlers have more of a chance to practice what they want to do on television or on premium live events, etc. I'm surprised. I don't know about ticket revenue. I guess there must be if TKO wants to be a money making machine, so you got to think that there's a reason they're not doing them, other than like not seeing it as an opportunity to make money there.
I know house shows are notorious for not having like packed houses. They're not going to put 15,000 people in a stadium for a house show.
Right.
There's also like all the money you got to spend for, you know, the people that are there to put up the production stuff. Like they're not doing like television production, but they're still, you got to pay the people that are doing the crew stuff. You got to pay the building. So I know Vince I'll give Vince props for being a family person. Like they wanted to have, you know, as many opportunities for fans to see the wrestlers. So that's why he always had so many house shows or super shows or something, because they used to do it, like 270 days out of the year
Wow.
they would be wrestling. Now it's like maybe 100. They don't do a whole lot of stuff unless they go overseas. When they go overseas, they tend to do more shows because Europeans don't get to watch WWE that often locally. So I'm happy that they still do stuff like that. But I don't know. I think having maybe some more super shows would be fun.
I also think they've somewhat of adopted the AEW model. And actually, we can kind of sift into that a little bit because there's a little thing going on with that right now, where the AEW model, they've been like, hey, you're contracted to AEW, but yeah, you can go to TNA. Well, at the time, TNA early on, you can go to Japan, you can go to CMLL. At one point, it was AAA. Yeah, you can go to Chaotic Wrestling, you can go to GCW, you can go
Beyond
this
Wrestling.
is the primary. But if you want to do other shows, you can. And I've noticed WWE's kind of been doing that with Pro Wrestling Noah and TNA. Well, for the NXT talent, or they'll do Ethan, what's the women's wrestling company over in Japan that they've been Marigold?
Marigold.
Marigold, yeah.
Because AEW's got Stardom, so.
But it works because it's like, all right, we're gonna bring your work contract down. You're gonna have a set contract. We're your priority, but you can go work these other venues. So it's like a given. Like, you can do it. You don't have to.
I believe a lot of that was when Triple H took over, because Vince was completely against it. Because with Vince, if it wasn't in the WWE realm, it did not exist, as we know. Because the moment, like, I think when they mentioned, I will never forget this, when AJ Styles debuted, they mentioned his New Japan Championship, and I nearly fell off my couch because I was like, oh my God, they mentioned another wrestling organization. What is going on? This is bizarre world. Like, I what? But now they drop that stuff all the time. They talk about that. They talk about TNA. They talk about, I think they've even mentioned some other stuff over in Japan. Obviously, they're not going to talk about AEW unless you're Sami Zayn and you randomly bring it up on a random SmackDown.
Well, they'll do it to be like, oh, he said it, and it's
the shock factor. Yeah.
Well, also the wrestling bubble now is so much more accessible than it was back then. Correct. Too. That these days it would be foolish not to bring up other things that are going on, unless it's competition. Obviously, WWE is not going to mention AEW and vice versa.
But AEW is not competition. Remember? So say a company, I guess.
Right. Even though WWE has hired staff to specifically watch them.
Right. Yeah. Like, come on. Like, just be honest with everybody. We all know that they're competition. Yes, they may not be anywhere near as big and as global as WWE is, but they're still competition. They quickly got on television from, I'd probably say, from their beginning to, I think, at least for me, when they had the sparklers for the main event. I think that was probably the best wrestling that was on television at the time. And then after that, things kind of went to hell. And then obviously we know Brawl Out. We talked about that at length, so we're not going to talk about that again. But yeah. So one more thing for the chat before we move on to our next segment was another comment from Mark talking about WrestleMania, talking about the 40-man Rumble. Obviously Edge being his absolute favorite, or Adam Copeland now, because we don't talk about his slave name anymore. Him being his absolute favorite wrestler of all time, before he had to retire due to injury. We get to see his showcase of all his finishers, all 18,000 finishers that he has during that Rumble. And now that he mentioned it, I do remember that. Yeah, that was good. That whole night was just a good time, except Santino not winning the Rumble. But whatever, it is.
There's always one WCW moment in a pay-per-view. So
yeah, right. Thank you.
So, anyways, before we talk about anything else, Scott, we're hitting the top of the hour right now. Why don't we open up another pack?
All right, we shall do that. We'll open up that WCW NWO pack since we were just talking about WCW. So look at that segue. I love it.
Another 4 out of 10 pack. Let's go.
Well, this one's the one with Hogan, so it's not it's not Bret Hart hatred, at least yet. Speaking of, I'm very excited actually. We'll talk about Hogan for a moment. Netflix having that special on the 22nd, talking about the life of Hulk Hogan. It includes his last interview before he passed away. So I look forward to watching that and seeing what all that's about. I know Andrew, who's a friend of the channel, and I think he might still be in the chat, is a huge Hulk Hogan fan. So I'm hoping it's a good thing and not just, them talking about all the negative stuff in his life, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So going to the pack, we have our sticker, which is always the first thing when it comes to these NWO WCW packs. And it is NWO black and red. Kevin Nash.
I blew my knees looking at that card. So
Quads are gone. All right. And unlike Jericho's Man of 1,004 holds, we have the Man of 1,001 holds. Dean Malenko.
armbar.
That's right.
Armbar number 2.
The undisputed leader of the NWO black and white, Eric Bischoff himself. Because he's back and he's better than ever. A man to be on 2 different wrestling companies in the same week. Rick Rude.
Mm-hmm.
He was on DX one night, and then another night he was on Nitro with the NWO.
Yeah, he's like the sleeper in that hole because I always forget he was part of the NWO.
Yep. He was only a brief moment, but yeah, yeah. And then rounding this out, speaking of Bret Hart,
oh God,
we have Jim Anvil Neidhart. Good old WCW pack. That was a good pack.
That was a good pack. Not a stinker in that one.
9 out of 10 Scott pick for Kurt.
Yeah. Uh-oh. One of our usual suspects has arrived in the chat.
Usual suspect.
All right. Actually, I want to bring this up because last time we did a live show, we were talking about favorite wrestling memorabilia, and I didn't have it with me. Scott, John, Ethan, remind me to go through my unit and find the WrestleMania magazine from WrestleMania 20.
Yes.
I think that'd be really fun to kind of like skim through.
Yeah.
But I found the DVDs that started it all. Both the Monday Night War and the Rise and Fall of ECW. This is not the documentary that is on Peacock. This is the original hour and a half, which it's a cool documentary. But then when you watch the full one, you're like, oh, yeah, we needed 50 hours to talk about this whole era with that. So this one, it's wild. DVD bonus extras. Rey Mysterio Jr. in Psychosis. Mikey Whipwreck taking on Sandman. 2 Cold Scorpio and Sabu. Tommy Dreamer Raven. Just some
bangers right there.
Some bangers. I will be popping that in at some point and being a kid again. So. All right. Scott, I know we got to talk about this. Do you want to talk about your victory lap from the past?
I won't rub it in because I didn't win the show. I did win the season for NXT. So our mid-card title we talked about at the very beginning of the show. We decided to just throw one in there just to be fun because we have the season-long Bedlam Media Championship that Ethan right now is in the lead by, I believe, 4 points now because he was the winner of Stand and Deliver by 1 point because that's always how this stuff works. So Ethan now has 17 points going into TNA's Rebellion. So after that, we just have WrestleMania nights 1 and 2. So we are getting close to the nitty gritty. So as of right now, it's only Ethan and myself in contention for the title. Unfortunately, John and Sam have been eliminated from that. So I need to pull a rabbit out of the hat for a couple of these shows to tie Ethan, or for the first time in
all season long.
Well, for the first time in ever, we'll have a repeating champion going into a following year, because every year we've done this, we've had different champions. Yes, we had Bedlam in the Bank where there's been title changes within. We explained obviously this year we couldn't do it because just timing. Sam and I couldn't get together to do one of the ROH shows to do Bedlam in the Bank, so we scrapped it for the year. So Ethan got a pass for this season, which is fine, I guess. But if Ethan wins, then John, Sam, and myself will be competing on the first ROH show for Bedlam in the Bank. And then Ethan will have to watch his back. But that's still, we got 3 shows left. 6 points are up for grabs. Ethan right now is up by 4. So if he wins Rebellion, then unfortunately he's clinched the title.
All right.
Because there'll be no way.
Let's have the conversation live. Let's talk about this live. Ethan, is there a show that we can do WrestleMania week where we could do the Bedlam in the Bank?
Oh, I get to pick? Hell yeah, let's go.
No, I'm asking if there is a show, because here's the thing.
There's lots, if I'm going to be honest with you.
I wanted to do this at least before the pay, because we've already talked about Backlash. If there's ever a tiebreaker, it's happened at Backlash and whatnot. We do Fairway to Hell, which we haven't even discussed yet. Opening show of Double or Nothing happening in May. Can't do that. So I'm wondering if we just want to knock it out WrestleMania weekend. And if there's a show out there that's big, I'm not talking about like Effie's Big Gate Brunch. I know he's probably going to do one of those that weekend. You're like, that's the one I was thinking of. Love Effie. But I didn't know if there was like a show that we could use. We'll just get it out of the way next week.
Yeah, we run in the collective schedule.
That's a lot.
But if there's anything in like the realm of like GCW or Ring of Honor or something like that that's going on that we can utilize.
I think GCW has a big show that weekend. Or that week, I should say.
They got lots. Hold on, so at Thursday, I'll just do GCW strictly only right now. So Thursday at midnight, they got MDK Fight Club. Friday the 17th, they got Grenko Logos World Lucha, Josh Brown's Bloodsport, Joey Janela's Spring Break, and then Saturday just Effie's Big Gate Brunch and the Morrow Clusterfuck.
Bloodsport.
You want to do Bloodsport?
Bloodsport, I think would be fun.
There's 10 matches, and it's at 3 p.m. Eastern.
So that's fine. We're doing this live on Thursday, so that's before the show. So that's perfect.
So John's never done the Bedlam in the Bank before.
That's true.
John, and everyone here who's not familiar with it, we could do it at Dynasty Mark, but now we'd have to all set it up, and we got to get the wheel. And if we had thought about that, that would have worked. So John, the Bedlam in the Bank is like the Money in the Bank, except we don't make picks. We literally make the Wheel of Doom. And we let it spin, and whoever it lands on, this is your pick, this is your pick, this is your pick.
That's it. Spin the wheel, make the deal.
But now we got 3. And you know what? What's the chances of Ethan winning WrestleMania? Is there still a chance, Scott, for you to win?
There is, but I'd have to run the table essentially.
Scott has a clean sweep.
I need 2 clean sweeps to tie him, and then I need to win WrestleMania Night 2.
So do we not let Ethan get involved? And even if you win, then you get to pick your opponent and do a runoff. Or do we have all 4 of us do it? And then if Ethan wins, he still then gets to pick his appointment. Otherwise, one of us wins, and then we get to pick the pay-per-view and do what we normally do. Yeah,
the winner of Bedlam in the Bank picks a pay-per-view within the next calendar year, I believe, up to the Rumble. To challenge the champ. And then when you challenge the champion, it's the same thing. Spin the wheel, make the deal. You don't make picks, the wheel makes the picks for you. It's just extra chaos. It's extra bedlam.
But Mark, he does have a 50% chance of winning. But with John now in the mix, he only has a 33 and 2/3% chance of winning, which gives me who is also half the size of Scott in height, gives me like a 75.8% chance of winning, which is going to spell disaster for Scott. I don't know, sometime in the next month. The sacrifice has already happened.
I know. Oh God, I wish that was one of their main pay-per-views, because the promos we could do for Sacrifice would be amazing.
So, do you want to do Bloodsport? John,
Yeah.
it's really kind of like a whatever, no brains. Like, all right, whatever.
Sure.
All right,
opportunity.
Bloodsport it is. Ethan, let's get that wheel going. Let's get that all situated. We don't even need to know half the talent. I did watch it last year though. Last year I think that was Natty.
I was about to say that's the one with Nat and Natty in it, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's taking on Shayna, I believe, is one of the matches.
Hold on. Oh, can we run down the matches for Bloodsport, or do we hold off? No.
We can hold
I
off
get
because we don't need to go through that right now. But you can run off. You can run off a couple of your. I keep forgetting about this. Your Ethan picks for the week. We did TNA, but I forgot the rest of them.
That's terrible.
guns.
That's okay. Pew, pew, pew. All right, so I'll just go do. So actually, I like the way Sam. So I'll just go by each promotion because, yeah, it's easier. Actually, speaking before I get that, Scott brought up Royce Keys earlier. I guess he was on a dark match on Raw against Bruce Creed. There's your daily Royce Keys update. So okay. So main event. Remember on Raw, Scott, they talked about the Intercontinental title ladder match, and they announced Rusev and all them, like Jay McDonough.
Yes.
So Corey Grace or Mike Cole said they had qualifying matches on main event, but main event didn't air until that Thursday.
I know. They spoiled their own matches. Yeah.
LOL WWE. But from that show, I would say watch Dragon Lee, Grayson Waller. That was a 7 out of 10. Javon Rayo was a 7 out of 10. Fuck Pete. I miss Pete Dunne.
Me too.
But he's on Bloodsport actually. Spoiler.
Yes. Yeah, as Pete Dunne too. So.
And it's SmackDown. The United States title match was pretty good. Sammy and Carmelo, that was 7 out of 10. Please put Carmelo in fucking Mania. For the love of God.
That still hurts me that they gave the title to Sammy when Carmelo was having such a great run.
Adrenaline hurts my soul. Something Scotty Stream. Sorry. I know you didn't say it, but I know what he's thinking. Stay and Deliver. I would say watch the women's title triple threat match, the NXT tag title match, the women's North American title match are all 7 out of 10. By the way, Tony D'Angelo finally did it. Someone say he looks like Berserker. I'm like, oh, not.
I saw a thing today that I guess with his hair as fluffy as it was, he looked like Bruiser Brody, and I was just like, oh shit.
You know what? He does. Honestly, I think Kendall Gray should. I like Low Vice, but I think Kendall Gray should have got the title. Personally,
there's and I don't want this to come off as me being a hater of Lola Vice, but there's just something about her that just doesn't click for me personally. It's not obviously I don't want people to get upset because oh my god he hates that she's non-Caucasian. No, it's just I don't know. She doesn't connect. She never has. Up until recently, oh my god, there was another wrestler that wasn't, but now that she's on the main roster, she's clicking all the right buttons and everything's doing real good. Lash Legend. For the longest time, Lash for me it was just like meh, whatever. She's pretty good, but meh, I don't care. The stuff she's doing with Nia right now, it's great. I'm like perfect. It all makes sense now.
Lola Vice just does too much ass shaking, and
she's using her assets. I get it, no pun intended. But anyways, my favorite matches of her are the underground matches because there is no shaking. It's all serious business. I'm coming in there to mess you up, and she does. That's why she's undefeated in those underground matches.
That's her match. But I'll finish my picks because I don't want to forget them. From Raw, I actually watched the 6-man tag, and then Rey Mysterio got fucking added, which was weird, but whatever. That was an 8 out. That's an Ethan pick, by the way. Most Americans match. And from NXT, really nothing. AEW, fuck, what was that Saturday? The Collision. I say that the Rascals versus Don Callis family. I said that's 7 out of 10. from Dynamite, I would say the Don Callis versus Bandito, Darby, Jack Perry, and the TBS title match are the only two I say watch from that show.
That it?
Yeah, that's it. It's a
All
short
right.
week or two.
Cool. I know we have 15 minutes left. Does anyone have anything else that they want to talk about? Because I want to get to a couple more questions. We'll do one more card pack and then we'll wrap up here.
Take a look at the list that we were talking about. I think we've covered just about everything. Oh, one bit of business that came out on Tuesday morning after Raw. They have officially announced which matches are on which nights for WrestleMania.
Oh, yes.
As of right now, we have 7 matches on one night, 6 matches on another. There's all the talk in the world talking about how there's going to be 14 matches. So there's another one that's supposed to be announced at some point. I'm assuming probably after SmackDown, maybe, or after Raw. The rumors, I guess, are Asuka and Io Sky with everything going on between them and Kairi Sane. That makes a lot of sense. Apparently, there's also an injury with Nikki Bella, so she may be in question for that fatal 4-way for the women's tag titles. So a little bit of stuff up in the air, but I think that's pretty much all I can think of when it comes to Mania stuff.
But we have plenty of Mania stuff next week. We will be doing it live. We will be doing our picks live. It is the wrap-up of Bedlam Medium Championship year 5?
Year 5.
5 going into year 6 for Double or Nothing. Mania 42. Let's get a couple of these other questions out of the way, shall we?
Yes.
All right.
So we want to say, again, thank you. Emma J had sent us a whole bunch of questions. Her and her group, they all listen to us together. So again, we thank you guys for listening. Hopefully you're enjoying it. I know Emma was in the chat earlier. I don't know if they had to go back to work, but thank you again.
Yeah, well, one of the questions they had, and I think this is good for lore, especially 200 episodes in, from that team. Why does Scott always wear sunglasses? And they were like, if it's a medical condition, you don't have to answer.
Channeling his inner cover killer nation. right, Sam?
So, here's the thing with the sunglasses. I actually started that.
He did.
I forgot
to mention that. That's true.
Oh, they're still here. Good. Glad they're still listening. I actually used to wear the sunglasses all the time. And I don't know what had happened. All of a sudden, like, there would be episodes where I'm just, like, struggling watching with them on, so I'd take them off a little bit. And then I think one episode we just started recording without them. And I think you would have them on, because then we would both have them on. And then I eventually got to the point where you're like, well, somebody needs to get glasses on. So that's the lore behind the sunglasses. And if I can get my sunglasses cleaned at some point, I might put them back on. I don't know.
Yeah, and I had also had they had asked that in the chat that when they asked other questions, and I had also put that I have multiple monitors that I constantly am looking at for different things, for questions and for data and for stuff like that. So I don't like the fact also how I have my webcam focused. I never actually physically look into the webcam because I'm watching the monitors. I want to see what's going on. So it looks weird to me. So by having the glasses on, it gives the illusion that I'm always constantly looking straight ahead and at the webcam. So
and that's kind of why I would do it too, because I would go back sometimes and watch, and I'm looking at my laptop here, I'm looking here, and I got to look there, and I'm like, I must look like a crackhead.
That's why Cover Killer Nation wore his sunglasses in his old reviews, Sam.
Oh yeah, so it's not just
his eyes were going. He didn't like his eyes going everywhere, so he just wanted to make it look like he was just focused on the thing. Yep.
You start looking like Tweak from South Park, the Impact Zones. Too much coffee. One that actually, and we will definitely get to all of these in future episodes. We'll get to them next week if you join us for our next live stream. One that I thought was interesting, which I think we don't talk about enough, non-wrestling related. If Ethan was wearing some, sorry, pull this before I read this last question. Pull what Mark said.
I just saw it. Yeah.
If Ethan was wearing sunglasses, we'd see the 3 monitors. He's watching different wrestling promotions. No. He'd be like what's his name from Grandma's Boy. You know, the nerd who's like this. And he'd have all the monitors.
Adios, turd nuggets.
Classic. I love that.
Ethan's like from from the movie Swordfish, where the guy hacker walks into the room and he's got like the 6 or 8 monitors in an area. With Ethan, it's a different wrestling promotion on every single one of them, and he's just absorbing everything. He's like, all right, I'm ready to.
Mark, I have 4. I got 4. I got the laptop, my computer monitor, my tab, my phone, and my TV.
Those are the TV behind you, yeah. There's been times I think some of our shows, I think you've been either watching wrestling or watching hockey, and I'm just like, no, copyrights, no, turn it off.
Oh yeah, that's I had. I think I came on for some. Oh yeah, Saturday Night Main Event where Bronson joined Vision, so I came on to brag, and then I forgot I was watching hockey behind me.
Yep.
And Scott's like, he's like, turn it off. I'm like, what do you mean? And I forgot I had it on, and I turned around, I'm like, oh shit, didn't get in trouble for. Surprise! Knock on wood. But
right.
Apparently I'm a Pat McAfee fanboy because I quote tweeted somebody said Royce Key should join Orton. To that guy, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, here you have it, folks. You've heard it here first. Scott's been here with my current setup. John, I don't think I had the setup when you came to visit at one point, but I have my 4 monitors, my laptop, and my work laptop. So some people are like, what are you doing? And I'm like,
gaming.
Living the dream, as they would say.
I was like, oh yeah, I was there at one point.
You were there really early when I first relocated.
Right.
Yep. So this is when I think we kind of started the show with this, listening through things, and I think this would be a fun way to end the show. If you weren't podcasting about wrestling, what else would you run a podcast about?
Hockey.
And that is your shameless plug for Ethan's Walk with Ethan Hockey podcast.
Boom. Go check out episode 2. It's up there where I give since I brought it up, but basically this update standings and preview tonight's game and the results from the last 2 games. So, and the league stands for AHL, so keep an eye out. Previews coming soon, boys, because it's almost regular season's almost over.
That's true. Almost playoff time.
Stanley Cup starts WrestleMania weekend, and AHL regular ends WrestleMania Sunday. So that week, I'll probably do a Calder Cup preview once I know everything's going on.
Nice.
Scott, John, either of you want
to? I'd say go ahead, John. You can do your shameless plug for.
Oh yeah, I mean it's. Sam and I have a show. We'd be talking about music. We'd be talking about movies. You know, it's more of a show. The Review Realm. I wouldn't call it a podcast because we only do it. It's only about usually like 10 minutes tops, 10, 12 minutes. Usually we'll talk about an album or something like that.
John would talk about Bar Rescue.
Yeah, we did. I did do that at one point. Yeah. Yeah, probably one of those 2 things. Either I could talk people's ear off on music. I'm a movie buff. I could talk about that for forever. But yeah, folks, please go check out the Review Realm. Sam and I are doing album reviews every week. Yeah, check us out there.
All right, Scott, your turn.
It's funny. Like I've been thinking about this since Emma sent the questions to us. And to be 100% honest, I probably wouldn't be doing podcasts. Wrestling has been really one of the only real main things that I've continuously kept up on. I'm a sports guy, but I'm more of a casual fan. Like I'm not a hardcore fan of things. Yes, I have the Red Sox and Celtics behind me. You know, I also obviously the wrestling fan. I'm a casual gamer. You know, it's just I'm one of those unfortunate people that have a really high work ethic. So I'm at work a lot. I'm doing a lot of stuff that's, non-fun, I guess. This I wouldn't really consider a job. Like when Sam and I started all this stuff back in 2020, we were like, let's just go out there, see what happens, see if anybody wants to listen, and we'll see what happens. We had a pretty decent following on X after a while, and we had a lot of people that just would continue to talk to us. And Sam and I were just like, you know what? Why don't we start doing a podcast and see what happens? And at that point, it was the first time I'd ever done anything. And if you ever go back and listen to that first or second podcast, dear God, I am awful. But after a while, it just, and I have to thank Sam for this, because he was able to bounce off of my very awkwardness to try to get me to have just a conversation like we were just talking, and not like think of it as oh my God, I have to be perfect for this because I want everybody to listen and I want everybody to like it and comment and all this other stuff. But it just was just like, I got out of my own head. I just had a lot of fun with it. But before that, the thought of doing this type of stuff never crossed my mind ever. So if I look at it now, I might do something sports related, because that's probably the second thing. Maybe I dabble a little bit in certain wrestling games or certain video games. Not a lot, because I don't have time to play a lot.
What about meteorology?
I mean, God, that's another thing. I could talk about that until the cows come home. That is a valid point, but I feel like that really wouldn't get a lot of people jazzed up like I would be just talking about the weather. I feel bad for my friends at work when I talk about the weather, because I'm surprised people still talk to me at work sometimes. I do have one coworker that actually does have a degree in meteorology, and when him and I get going, everybody runs for the hills because we nerd out hardcore. So yeah.
It's a Weather Network on podcast edition.
Yeah.
I will tell you mine, but I will say this before I do this. I found out that the Weather Channel has a retro option, so you can go back and watch the weather with the saxophone playing in the back and the old graphics.
Brother, you don't understand. Like, that got me out of depression. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I grew up with that stuff. Like, that was my Weather Channel. Like, when kids are watching like Sesame Street or Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood when they're children, I'm watching the Weather Channel for the sax music and for the giant H's and L's moving across the screen. I was like, oh my God, this is fascinating. Like, God, I was such an oddball child when it came to that stuff.
I'm gonna put that on.
That's when it comes to that.
I'm going to bed tonight. Like, I'm gonna put that on and I'm gonna play that.
It kept me entertained. I loved the hell out of it.
Honey, what are you doing? I'm listening to the sax music on the Weather Channel.
It was great. Yeah, when I found that, I changed it. It went to like an early 90s, like how they would do the Weather Channel, and it was just like I just sat there in my chair and just looked at it and just watched it for like 30 seconds, and I'm like, I might cry, because this is fixing things. My inner child is healing right now.
So I will wrap up with mine. I'll make it very quick. As a lot of you know, if you don't already know, I like to talk. I was definitely born way too late for the radio. I would have loved to be a radio DJ. I tried to do that in college. Couldn't do it because who listened to the radio at that point? At that point, we had Yahoo Music and stuff like that. Pandora. Again, I think the big thing would have been music. John and I actually John started the review realm before we even did wrestling. John and I met in the music. I don't want to say music scene, but we had a friend and it was music taste. So John and I, even though we talk a lot of wrestling, our music depth goes even deeper. Like, I know, okay, let me clarify something. Here's my wrestling knowledge if we're talking like depth. If you were to do like the iceberg, and then my music knowledge comes almost all the way to the bottom. I might know more about music than probably anything else. Maybe American history comes close to second. I don't know. But there's a lot of things. John and I could talk movies all the time. Video games. I know enough about it. I'm not like a gamer. I know an ungodly amount about comic books. that. That's all graphic novels and comic books. My uncle, one of my uncles I got my music from, also big into comic books. Am I like, I remember Spider-Man 670? No, I don't know that. I can tell you a lot of storylines, but I'm not that in depth. Or essentially, I'd like to talk about anything. I'd like to get a show going again, like OFR, or like Uncle Sam's Static Kaleidoscope, and just talk about something. Let me know in the chat if you want me to do that again. But we are locked for time. 200 episodes. Here's for another 200.
Hell yeah.
Let's, Ethan, why don't you tell people where they can find you at?
Everywhere on the internet. No joking. You can follow me on Twitter as Ethan_Black15. That's my wrestling one, and then Ethan_Black ATR for my hockey stuff. Of course, the ATR stuff and the hockey podcast. PWMania.com, Bodyslam.net, and Turnbuckle Times, where I do everything under the sun, no pun intended, and of course the ATR stuff with these three sexy bastards. So, I'm pretty. You call me pretty. John,
I think
I was like waiting for my cue. All right, yes, you can find Sam is.
I think
we've
lost Sam. Yeah.
You can find me at John the Statman, at John the Statman over on X, and also I'll say it on behalf of Sam as he has just dropped from the live feed. Search for the Review Realm. Hit the subscribe button. Forget you ever did. Just hit subscribe and move on if you want to. Let's get that count up there. Go check out the Review Realm, please.
Yeah, they just passed 150, so keep them going up. And you can find me pretty much everywhere. Scotty J Stream. I do all of the non-Japan stuff on X, and obviously doing all the pack openings and everything else here. I guess I'll do my announcement. I was going to say it with Sam here, but apparently that's not going to happen. We'll just stare at his face as he sits there frozen on our screen. WrestleMania Saturday, in the morning, or at noon, I would say Eastern. I will be doing a live show where I'll be doing some pack openings. So we'll get that set in stone, and there'll be news that'll be put out both on X and on, oh, now you finally dropped, on X, on Instagram, on Facebook. So we'll be out there. We'll be advertising it. So noon Eastern, I'll be doing some pack openings. And then obviously that'll lead into WrestleMania Night 1. So I guess for the rest of the crew, maybe Sam will come back, maybe not. I guess we'll finish the show without him. You can follow Sam pretty much everywhere as the SOB official. He's also doing the Bedlam Media X account as well. And you can find Ethan's podcast, his hockey podcast, on our Bedlam Media YouTube page. So go out there and find it, follow it, give Ethan all the nice reviews, thumbs up, all the good stuff, and subscribe to the Bedlam channel. So yeah, I guess we're wrapping stuff up. So thanks everybody for joining. We appreciate obviously everybody with the comments and the usual suspects as well. All the questions. We'll get to the rest of the stuff from Emma J and crew next week when we do our Mania picks. And there's a lot that's going to be going. So we appreciate you guys all being here. And of course, do not forget to join the Bedlam.
Thanks, guys.